Most people believe warfare is decided by numbers: more soldiers, more tanks, more missiles, more budget, a simple equation of scale. But the idea is getting outdated faster than anyone wants to admit it. Because modern conflict is no longer about who has more firepower, it is about who sees first, decides first, and acts first. And in that shift, something fundamental has changed in the nature of defense itself. Not louder weapons, not bigger armies, but intelligence that never sleeps. This is where the story of Anduril Industries begins. A company built on a strange, almost uncomfortable idea that defense should no longer be built like hardware, it should behave like a software. Anduril Industries is not trying to make better weapons in the traditional sense. It is trying to rebuild the nervous system of modern warfare itself, a distributed, autonomous network that watches, thinks, and responds faster than any human change of command ever could. To understand why this matters, you have to look at the problem that no one talks about. Modern defense systems are fragmented. Radar systems don't talk to cameras, cameras don't talk to drones, drones don't talk to command centers in real time. Information moves slowly, gets filtered, delayed, and interrupted through layers of human bureaucracy. In a world where decisions must be made in seconds, much defense infrastructure still behaves like it is the Cold War era. And that delay is not just inefficient, it is dangerous. Because threats today do not arrive in formations, they arrive as signals. A drone in the sky, a submarine signal in the ocean, a border crossing in the desert, tiny fragments of intent that must be detected, identified, and responded to instantly. The hidden problem is not lack of weapons, it is lack of perception. And then came a different kind of founder, Palmer Luckey, a creator who didn't come from the traditional defense world. He came from virtual reality, from building immersive systems where perception is everything, where reality itself is rendered in real time. That background matters more than it seems. Because he did not see defense as machinery, he saw it as a perception problem, a software problem, a system problem. And around that idea, he built a team that looked unusual for the defense industry. Engineers from Silicon Valley, robotics experts, AI researchers, people who had built gaming engines, autonomous systems, and real-time data platforms. Not a defense contractor, a technology company entering defense. And the core belief that held it together was simple yet provocative. War in the future will be won by software-defined autonomy, not by replacing humans, but by creating systems that extend human perception beyond biological limits. That belief became the foundation of everything Anduril built. At the center of it is something called Lattice, a real-time AI command and control platform that acts like a digital nervous system for the physical world. Think of it not as a dashboard but as an always-on brain that connects sensors, drones, cameras, radar, and autonomous systems into one unified intelligence layer. First, sensors are deployed across an environment: border walls, coastlines, military bases, remote terrain. These are not passive devices, they are constantly streaming data. Then Lattice ingests that data in real time. It does not wait for human review. It fuses inputs from multiple sources, filters noise, identifies patterns, and builds a live model of the environment. Then comes decision making. The system can flag threats, track movement, and assign responses automatically. In some cases, it can deploy autonomous drones or intercept systems without waiting for human approval, depending on the rules set by operators. Finally, everything is visualized in an unified interface where human operators are no longer overwhelmed by raw data. They are supported by structural intelligence. The effect is not just speed, it is clarity. Instead of thousands of disconnected signals, there is one living map of reality. On top of this system sits autonomous hardware platforms, drones that can patrol borders, interceptors that can neutralize incoming threats, mobile surveillance towers that can be deployed anywhere and begin sensing immediately. Systems like these are not just tools, they are extensions of lattice itself. Every device becomes part of the network, every signal strengthens the model, every event improves the system's understanding of the world. This is where Anduril's advantage becomes clear. Traditional defense systems improve slowly through long upgrade cycles. Anduril systems improve continuously through software updates and live data. That creates something rare in defense: iteration speed, a feedback loop between real world deployment and machine learning refinement. But the technology alone is not enough. What makes this company different is the density of its mission. The team is not building isolated products, they are building a unified defense layer for an entire new era of conflict. Investors and partners are not just betting on a product, they are betting on a shift in architecture from hardware first defense to software defined defense. That shift attracts a different kind of talent, people who are not optimizing for incremental improvements but for a foundational redesigns of systems that already exist. Because once you start thinking in terms of networks instead of machines, everything changes. A radar is no longer a radar, it is a node. A drone is not just a vehicle, it is a sensor and actuator in a larger intelligence system. A command center is not a control room, it is a decision interface for an AI assisted reality. And at the center of all of it is a simple but powerful idea: perception is everything. From that perspective, Anduril is not building defense products, it is building infrastructure that could eventually become the default layer through which nations perceive and respond to threats. If that happens, competition stops being about who has better hardware, it becomes about who owns the operating system of the defense. And operating systems tend to become monopolies. Because once a network of sensors, drones, and autonomous systems is deeply integrated into national security infrastructure, replacing it becomes not just expensive but strategically risky. This is the end game. Not dominance through force, but dominance through integration. A world where defense is no longer a collection of disconnected systems, but a single intelligence network that spans air, land, sea, and digital space. Still, the deeper question remains unanswered. What happens when machines begin to perceive threats faster than humans can interrupt them? What happens when decisions shift from human intuition to machine prediction? And most importantly, who is ultimately in control when perception itself becomes automated? Anduril is not just building technology, it is building a new interface between humans and conflict, a layer that sits between intention and action. Whether that makes the world safer or more complex depends on how that layer evolves. But one thing is already clear: the future of defense will not be defined by firepower alone. It will be defined by intelligence, speed, and systems that see the world before anyone else even realizes there is something to see.